We buy the fuel at 500 per liter and then burn it off on the road. The traffic at our end, the Lagos Ibadan Express traffic, is still there. So we buy 500 liter fuel just to burn it off on the road, stationed in traffic.
No, that I don't know. What I was just saying is that I hope the government will do something about the traffic. It's not only Lagos to Ibadan Expressway. I think it's affecting, this Akobog Bridge as well.
Yes, I heard that's also closed, and
it's closed. Then there are some other places that is closed as well. So the traffic in Lagos now is
insane.
It's so much. Yes.
So perhaps I think they should consider delaying the implementation of the new fuel prices for Lagos in particular until the roads are all fixed, right? What do you think? We should make that plea to the government to please consider us.
I think what we can do is maybe we can beg them to at least make it. Maybe they can do a bit of reduction for us here.
Yes.
Then possibly, because I know that increments, since others have increased, they won't do. It's like us just wasting our time telling them,
begging them to return us to status quo until the roads are all fixed, right? Anyways,
yes, because some of these roads will take like 6 months. Some will take like.
We've been on our own journey since February, right? So with the Lagos Ibadan Express, pain and torment and torture has been on since February, and this is June, and it's.
Well, Fashola said that it's going to be open. I think mid of this year, is it?
We are mid-year already, so let's renewed hope. We keep hope alive, right? We keep hope alive.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm just being worried about the affordable one because it has not been done since, and I don't think I'm not sure if they are working on it at the moment. But I might be wrong, maybe because I've been out for a long time now, and I've not passed that route.
Yeah.
The last time when we were going to Lekki, we had to pass through about Macaulay because of the traffic.
Is Dr. Mutia able to join us?
I think she will be joining us later.
Okay.
Let me see.
You can just prompt her that we're here because time doesn't wait.
Yes.
Right. Yes. I'm also waiting for Mariam to
we hope that she'll be able to join us, and
inshallah.
I've sent a message to her.
While we wait for them to join, let me do the quick background of what we're talking about today. So there was an interview by News Central. My brother, the Sulaiman Alede, interviewed alongside 3 others. They interviewed Dr. Philip Njemanze. He's the former chairman of the Association of Private Medical Practitioners of Nigeria, APMPN, and the Association of Catholic Medical Practitioners. Mariam, welcome. Right. Dr. Philip is also. Okay, she's still trying to connect her audio, I see. Right, so Dr. Philip is also the Association of Catholic Medical Practitioners of Nigeria. He's also the chairperson in Imo State, right? And there was this lengthy interview, but then I had about 7 minutes long video that is circulating from News Central. And that's what we're talking about today. So he alluded to the fact that in the caption of the news, we don't have organs in all Nigerian citizens. Our organs have been sold off. That's how the news was captioned. And of course, that would get anybody's attention. Come on. So basically, he referred to the Nigerian Health Act, National Health Act, and that's where so medical doctors, lawyers are calling for the review of that act. Specifically, sections 51 to 53 of that act needs to be reviewed, and the ambiguous aspects of it expunged as a matter of urgency. I wish I could play the video for everyone, but I mean it's out there, so you can just Google Dr. Philip Njemanze. It's right there. You can go to News Central and check for that report that I'm referring to. Let me make an attempt to play the video for everyone to hear at least a portion of it, because it's it's interesting what that video has. But I'm sure my people I don't already be Mariam and Haja Wasila. Sister Mariam, Haja Wasila, you're ready for this, right? You've watched the video. I've watched it God knows how many times. Um
Yes, I've watched the video. Yes.
okay, so
Yes.
yes. As soon as
So,
yes, we'll share.
Walaikum salam.
We'll just be talking about our own
was a
perspectives.
trick.
So let me just play a bit of it.
And we know for sure that this was headed by an international organ trafficking cartel. They funded the National Assembly. Of some people estimate to the tune of 6.2 billion US dollars. They also bought all the Nigerian government, federal government hospitals at the cost of 3.2 billion US dollars. They even offered to buy all the Catholic hospitals for $2 billion, but the bishops refused that. So this is a well-organized cartel who are actually moving into Nigeria in order to actually buy up, or they have already paid an advance on all our organs. Anybody in the Federal Republic of Nigeria has no entitlement to their organs as it stands today with the law. And we know this for sure, that these are billionaires from the United States who funded this organ trafficking cartel to take the organs of Nigerians. Now, my colleague AGK had asked whether I was there when this cartel made a negotiation. The answer is yes, I was physically present in a daily.
If you're just joining us, you're listening to Dr. Philip Njemanze. He is the former chairman of the association Association of Medical Practitioners here in Nigeria, and also the chairman of the similar group for the Catholics. I'll read the full nomenclature later. He's actually talking about a meeting he was part of. A few more names were mentioned. I'll skip to the part that is a bit interesting, but we'll talk about. So I just want to talk about where he mentioned the sections of the act that needs to be reviewed as a matter of urgency, and that's what we're looking at on The Other Woman today. So I'll just let you continue listening. Bear with us.
And presiding over this National Health Act public hearing was Senator Ike Ekweremadu, who was then the Deputy Senate President. And
let me comment there. Who did you say was presiding?
Senator Ike Ekweremadu, he was the presiding senator for the bill public hearing. And the sponsor, the chief sponsor, was Ifeanyi Okowa, now governor, but then Senator Ifeanyi Okowa. And just sitting by his side was also Dr. Chris Ngige, so who was then a senator. So all of them were there. And I made this argument directly, pointing out Section 48. That Section 48 makes an exemption that is impossible. You don't exempt. There is no situation in medicine where you can overrule or say the consent is waived. Consent is never waived. It could be transferred to the next of kin, but it's never waived in any situation. That is part of the Helsinki Declaration. So it's an international treaty. So we cannot make an exemption here in Nigeria. Then I also pointed out the loophole in Section 51. You cannot have the medical practitioner or the medical director of a hospital be the one to authorize that an organ is taken from someone to be given to another person. So it is wrong. You can't give what you don't have. That's a legal principle. Then I pointed out in section 53 that it is also when you say reasonable cost for reimbursement of reasonable payments. What does that mean? Is 10 million naira reasonable payment for kidney? Some people will tell you that too. So you actually legalized.
Right, so basically he's flagging section 48, section 51 and section 53 of the National Health Act, and this is public information. Anyone can have access to the National Health Act. Go and read for yourself. It's not a hearsay, and I'm glad that one of the things that he kept on repeating, Dr. Philip Njewanze, was part of that delegation. He was seated in that room alongside the likes of Ike Kweremadu. We know where he is right now, cooling off in a cell in Britain. I'm just going to fast forward to the end of this before I take reactions from my colleagues, Hajia Mariam and Hajia Wasila. I'm just going to scroll to the end. Like, he made a prophecy and the prophecy came to pass. Quick one.
Of GE from their headquarters in New York. This is the first time it's happening in the history of humanity. Nothing like this has ever happened. And I warned Ike Kurumado before the Senate, and Nigerians there will bear me witness, and many of them still remember. I told Ike Kurumado before the entire public hearing that he will be the first victim of this law he's standing for. Before everybody.
Right, and indeed, hasn't that come to pass? Subhanallah. Let me come to you first, Mariam. How did the last part, that's prophecy by Dr. Philip Njemanze about Ike Kweremadu being the first victim of his own, the laws that he signed to, that he's a part of, hasn't that come to pass already? Subhanallah. Subhanallah. Mariam Adams.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Subhanallah.
Allahu Akbar.
It's they say let me digress a bit. Sorry, I just prefer that. That's how my brain works. I hope you don't mind.
No,
so we say Nemesis is apparently a female god.
What a digression.
Because most of these laws, unfortunately, it's the women that it affects the most. Unfortunately. Many a time, who goes to childcare? Many a time when a man is ill, he probably won't even go to the hospital. He would say, be a man. They say, be a man. So they're kind of used to that, unless it's really critical. Or who goes to the hospital often? Who is more at risk of these things? Who has childbirth? So subhanallah.
Who's running helter-skelter when the child is sneezing and wheezing and coughing and all of that? Who runs to the hospital first? Yeah.
There are wonderful men as well, I must quickly add.
Yes,
that's the fact.
My brother being top of that list and my father. Yeah, but anyways, let me not. yeah.
Masha. So yes, that's number one. But no, as you were speaking, as
I was speaking, as Dr. Philip was speaking, please let's be clear. I kept on saying he said, not me. Or don't come out. If you want to come for me, you can go. The information is public. It's there. It's out there. And I was really hoping that Dr. Because we invited a doctor to join us. Dr. Fatima was supposed to join us. She's not able to. I'm still hoping. We also invited another doctor to join us, Dr. Mutia Ogunfemi. She's the MD, Blood Links Hematology Center. We're hoping she could join us. But anyways, let's just share our own perspective because we're directly affected. They said that the whole Nigerian organs, all the citizens here on this soil. La ilaha illallah. Yeah.
So personalized care. The second thing that came to my mind was so number one was Nemesis. Number two was personalized care. That is something that is being preached. I remember I used to do note taking at the university here, and during one of my lectures, they were telling the students that when you go to the nursing students, that when you go to see a patient or a patient comes to see you, and you think that you are looking after just the woman, understand this because they're teaching personalized care. Understand that this concept of personalized care is communal for some people because personalized care for us as Brits is me and I, but personalized care for example an Asian, especially who is just come from Pakistan or even an African, where she was experiencing that it is matriarchal let's say, matriarchal system in Asia, especially, for example, the Pakistanis. She was explaining to them that so you need to make sure that you're giving this person this care whilst you're respecting the mother-in-law who is sat in that corner, because she is the one who's going to tell she's going to take any of that medication or any of those instructions you're giving her. So why is that relevant here? Inclusive care. That's what I saw. In my mind, I thought the lady was trying to explain to them that whilst personalized care is very important now, in fact, what we are looking at is inclusive care, because we want compliance. And whatever we need to do to ensure compliance is what we must do. We can't just expect that one size fits all. So when the issue of waiver, that's what brought that into my mind. Like, how can you say that you can waive consent?
Oh, Doctor, is that Dr. Mutia?
Yes,
Wa alaikum salam. You're welcome to the party. I'll be late, but better late than never. Jazakumullah khairan for joining. I hope you've watched the video, the 6 minutes video we shared about Dr. Phillips' statements. I hope you've had time to watch it.
Yeah.
Okay, we've played it.
I just watched listening to some few minutes ago.
Okay, alhamdulillah. So I'll come to you in a minute, so you can just share your own perspective on that video where we were talking about Dr. Phillips' assertions, and he's challenging the sections 48, 51, and 53 of the National Health Act. So Mariam was just reflecting on her own contribution to the section 48 that he's contesting about waivers. Yes, Mariam, please go ahead.
Now, so cervical system, yeah, you're welcome. So so I was saying that inclusive care is something that is being discussed everywhere in the world, though they're calling it personalized care. But in fact, when they teach it, they tell people that they really need to understand their patients and make sure that they are seeking compliance, and that personalized care is not used in the wrong context so that it becomes counterproductive.
Indeed.
So it's a shocker to think that whilst the world is moving towards ensuring compliance and respecting people as they want to be respected, some people call the platinum rule. The golden rule is do unto others what you want others to do unto you, but the platinum rule is that you meet people at the point of their need. You give them what they need, not what you think that you would like if you were in that situation, because that might not be right for them. That someone can then say, oh yes, now not someone, anyway, the law people
says,
can then sit down and then make that law to take away what is actually being reinforced. It is just not right. And it's the same vein, the section 51 as well, that someone else can authorize.
Yes, the medical practitioner can recommend for your organs to be taken. You don't have a sila. Dr. Wasila, almost now. Doctor of Islamic Finance, mashallah, tabarakallah. I don't speak into your life. Right, Hajja Wasila. Yes, please. Your own perspective.
I'll say I'm into that, but I'm not doctor like Dr. Mutia, maybe Doctor of Islamic Finance or whatever you want to call it.
No.
But what I'll say is that I've watched it, but the truth is, like what Dr. Phillips said, I'm not sure. I don't want to believe that that actually happened.
So the whole video you watch, the whole interview looks like a movie to you. Okay, let me come back to you in a minute, because it seems ludicrous, right? The things that they signed seems ludicrous. Let me come to Dr. Mutia, since she's had a few minutes to look at the video. Dr. Mutia, let me come to you quickly. Hadia Wasila, I'm coming back for you. Yes, Dr. Mutia, please.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Well, I listened to I watched the video some minutes back, but really, it seems like you said, like a movie to me, because I don't think I've ever heard of that before. It's quite strange, because I feel if something like that has truly happened, I'm sure it will be something that will be of discussion among all healthcare professionals. I'm sure it will be something that would have generated a lot of arguments, protests, and all that. So it's actually really strange to me. So I don't know whether that's actually happened. So
it's there. So he's made it public, and that's why he's quoted the sections that are affected. So it's for every single person that is listening or watching this video now to actually go and dig up the National Health Act and review the sections 48, 51, and 53. Section 48 is waiving your rights, and he says you know, your consent cannot be waived. It can be transferred but never waived. That's what he's contending. That's what Dr. Philip is contending. But the law says it should be waived. Section 48. Section 51. Yes, please. Okay. Sorry to cut in. Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, because when I actually finished listening to him, I actually tried to do some search.
Yes.
To see whether there's any health of truth in what I thought. I actually saw that there was someone that actually mentioned it again.
Yes.
That in the is in the act that actually been said. But well, I feel there are some things that may actually they may have been written, but I don't know how practical.
Yeah, so that's the thing. What he's saying,
and I don't know whether it has actually been done before, or it's just making it known to us that okay.
He's bringing it to fore. He's telling us, he's like a fire on the mountain. People are sleeping, there's fire on the mountain. Wake up, wake up. All your medical sector is going to be taken away from you. You're going to be losing everything. And because when they start to do it, when you start to see the implementation, you start to shout and start to cry wolves and start to call hula baloo. The hula baloo will be late by then, because you signed it off to them. And that's why he's mentioning names. He's not afraid of them coming for his life. He's mentioning the names: Okowa, Ngige, Ekwemadu. These are top dogs in that sector. So he knows what he's saying. They were all at that conference. They were there during the negotiation when it was going on, and it's been signed into law. So your act is there. So he's calling on all medical doctors to get up and wake up. He's calling on lawyers to review those sections before we are all gone. As of today, it's a done deal. However, it can be repealed. Those sections can be repealed. So he's calling, is a call to action. So it's a good thing he's bringing it to light.
That is it's really baffling. Because for you to even pass such things into law, is it that is Ngige that is representing the medical professional?
They picked all the top, yes. Yes, they picked all the... He was the chairman of the Private Practitioners Medical Association of... He was a former chairman. So they picked the relevant people.
That is private practitioners. So what of someone that is representing the Nigeria?
Ngige represented the federal government. He picked people. Your Senate President, Ike Kremadu, they picked the relevant people, and the relevant people signed you off. So yes,
if that's the case, then we are really in for it.
That's what he's calling for. So rather than anybody attacking him, in fact, if you notice during the interview, he looked at there was an attack, and he said, "My colleague is asking," and the guy is so composed. May God bless him.
Yes.
Very composed. My colleague is asking, "Was I there?" Oh yes, I was there. No, so he's saying emphatically, these are the people who were there together. And I love the end part of that interview. You know, God bless News Central team and the way they handled the interview and how they let him let everything out. They were not cutting in. I don't know if there's another guy from another station I don't even want to mention. I'm sure he would have cutting in and let him. He allowed him to talk. He gave all the facts. You know, there was no agenda. You know, there was nobody having a second agenda. They let him spill all the beans, right? And I like the way he ended. He said anybody can go and question anyone that was part of that meeting. He told the inquiry madam before the public hearing, you will be the first victim. And is he not the first victim already? Has he not been sentenced under that same, organ trafficking? You know, the case, everybody was at the point. I pitied him also, and I used to say these things that somebody, you don't know what has gone behind. You don't know the rest of the story. Only Allah knows. And look at what is coming out now. So I think that as a matter of urgency, now that you know Dr. Mutia in your circle, because he said lab scientists were represented. There were a lot of people that were represented in that meeting. So it was not he quoted the venue of the meeting. He quoted the people that were involved. General Electric.
I'm sure there will be many people that will be looking into that now. I'm sure they would have started doing something.
So let's get the conversation going. Let's get the talks going. Let's create more awareness about it. The sections are there. National Health Act, Section 48, 51, 53. Start to talk about it. Let's get action points on it. Let people act now before it's late. He even quoted figures. He's saying to you, these people are coming to build hospitals in your country so that they can carry on uninhibited what the agenda is. Are we going to let that happen? That's really a wake-up call. Let me come back to I hope Sister Wasila has recovered. Sister Wasila.
Yeah.
So it's
let me just ask you a question. My question is this: did you actually read that act as well?
Are you asking me?
Well,
Yes,
that's what I've not been able.
Yes, I've looked at the excerpts. Yes, the excerpts that he raised. Yes, I have looked at it. I have.
So, did you check it on? Did you check it online and you are sure that it's there?
Yes, even in that video,
Dr. Philip said.
even in the video, they screenshot those sections that he was referring to.
No. I saw it.
But I didn't want us to actually get the Health
The Health Act in
I'm
full.
sure it is there.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
Is it there in the Health Act?
those are excerpts from the Health Act. Auntie Haja, yes. Just do Google now,
Yes,
so I
okay.
hear now. As we are reflecting, I know I said to you that all the scholars in the house should also
And
be
so
telling.
who were the medical? Because I don't understand.
Chris Ngige is the medical expert.
What I understand.
He did.
No. Let me.
Okay.
Let me explain. See, for example, now you and I, we are in the accounting something.
Yes.
If there is any changes to any accounting law or tax law or something like that,
Yes.
it's being shared among our circles. We will look at it, we will see it.
Okay.
But how come, like Dr. Mutiat now?
Yes.
At least she works in the hospital. She has colleagues there. She has all these things there. So is it that the information is hidden from the doctors or they don't know? Because I specifically sent this to one doctor the other time.
That's
He
what
just
I
threw
know.
it away. The doctor just threw it away. That what is this one saying? That is maybe not possible. Did you get what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. That is it that they put these documents, they put the document somewhere so that others don't see it.
No,
at all.
so apparently, if you actually,
Or
as you
is it
if
that it was not open to them, because I don't see why. In our profession, you know how it works. If there is any tax law that changes down, they will pass it on to everybody, and almost everybody in Nigeria will know what that tax law
So let me quickly
says.
cut in. Since you've asked me if I did, actually just go in online now. Just type section 48. Just Hadia Wasila, quick one. As you just asked me now, I've gone on to Google and just typed section 48 National Health Act, and the news that is throwing up. There's so much online. Apparently, there was all the noise back then before President Goodluck Jonathan signed it into law. So there was a lot of noise about it. But he was killed and died, and it was signed into law. So he is calling for a review of those sections. That it's a harmful section. Those sections should not be. 48, section 48. 48.
Okay.
Section 48, section 51, and section 53. Those are the three sections he's drawing our attention to of the National Health Act. National Health Act 2014. It was signed into law by President Goodluck Jonathan. It's interesting that we are seeing this news now and talking about it now. This is 2023, many years down the line, but it's better late than never. If that thing is there and it's been, and you know why that interview came to limelight? It's just because of his prophecy. The sharing of that interview clip is to reinforce his prophecy, the prophecy to Ike Madu that you will be the first victim of that.
You need to go and upgrade.
Is there in black and white?
It says black and white that a person. Let me just read it out.
Yes, please.
A person shall remove the tissue, blood,
or blood products from another living person without his informed consent.
Without his informed consent. For medical investigation and treatment in emergency cases.
Beat that.
Wow.
Is there in black and white?
The interpretation we are giving it is different. They said in emergency case. It's different from.
So what Dr. Phillips said is where you cannot waive a consent. You can transfer it, so the person can that cannot do it. His family member can give consent on his behalf. Somebody can. He didn't fall from the sky. That's what Dr. Philip is raising an alarm about. That you cannot waive a consent. You can transfer the consent. You cannot waive it. That's his bone of contention. It is the way.
Say something.
Please, Mariam.
Cases in Nigeria, we know ourselves. Emergency cases.
They will leave you outside of
That's a slippery slope that you really do not want to step foot on. Once you allow that, they will use every excuse to
convert every case to an emergency case.
It must be nipped in the bud. It just cannot be allowed. Emergency or no emergency, someone must know that you're taking something out of someone's body.
Yes. He has family members, he has spouses, he has a lot of people that are involved. Somebody brought him to the hospital. The police is there. People must be involved in giving that consent. What Dr. Philip is saying is, do not waive the consent. Do not make the person not have a say anymore. That's what he's saying. Let his family get involved.
Okay, but if I may come in, like most of the emergency cases we are talking about, so I don't know whether what I saw online now, that the medical investigations and the tissues were not provided. Information of
we are losing you. There's a network issue. There's a glitch. There's a network glitch. We've lost Dr. Mutia. I hope the connection can quickly come back. However, oh yes, she's back. Dr. Mutia, you were saying.
Okay, yeah. So I said now, for example, he's talking about the issue of consent and all that. Because if you actually talk of emergency cases at that time, you may not really have the luxury. Hello?
Well, with you, you may not have the luxury.
Yeah.
I'm listening.
So you may not have the luxury of time. For example, talking about blood transfusion now.
Yes.
A baby is brought in, PCV, blood level is 9%. Baby is almost gasping to death. At that point, you are not waiting for anybody's consent before you say you want to transfuse the child, otherwise the baby will die. So that case is different from talking about the issue of organ transplant or something like that. In those cases, yes, we are talking about emergency. It's not something saying, okay, we don't do anything within the next few minutes. The person is going. So that is a different case for blood transfusion, which if you don't do anything within seconds, you are losing the person. So for the issue of
sorry for my laymanness, as I'm not a medical person. Yeah. This case will be revisited because now I'm going to have to invite medical doctors. Dr. Fatima is supposed to be here with us. I'm going to bring medicals next week, inshallah. So Dr. Mutia, you're coming back next week, inshallah. So please book us in your calendar. So the thing is, in my laymanness, you're infusing blood, you're bringing blood into the system. You need consent. So I know there are people that will not take blood irrespective. So that consent thing that is being waived is actually a fundamental right that is being taken away. I'm
not sure whether you okay.
Yes, I'm privy to the information. For example, a CS, critical CS, they will not carry out a CS on a woman who is at the point of death until they got someone to sign off. So if that consent is then waived, that's what we're saying. So they can go in, take the baby out, claim the baby is dead, take out organs, claim the woman is dead, and seal her up, and that's it. What's the danger in that waiver is what we are questioning. That's what Dr. Philip is questioning. That's what I believe. Hopefully I can get a lawyer to also join us next week, inshallah. So a doctor and a lawyer, I'm promising we're coming to revisit this case, because yes, it's been signed into law long ago. However, should we let it stay there? That's what the question is. So you think it's okay for that waiver in emergency cases being the catchphrase emergency? That's your standpoint. Is that it?
Well, I think it depends on what, because you cannot just give a blanket statement to cover everybody. Because like this issue I'm talking about, maybe if for an adult, fine. But when you are talking about a baby, a child that cannot even defend himself, because there was a case that happened then, I don't know whether you were aware, in Lut, about a baby, the mother, the parents are Jehovah's Witness.
Yes, that's what I referred to. That's why I didn't mention it. I just said the religious. I'm aware of that case. Yes, they declined the transfusion because of their religious beliefs. We've lost Dr. Mutia again. There's a network glitch. There's,
Yeah. So in fact, I think there is a law. There is a law. Okay, hello.
yes, we're with you, ma'am.
Hello?
Yes, you're back. Yes, you're here.
Yeah, right. Yes, there is a Child Rights Act that when that case happens, so there is a Child Rights Act now that if a baby needs blood, a baby as an adult, you can decide to say yes, I don't want to transfuse. But for a baby, you cannot, because you know that taking a blood transfusion will definitely save.
Yes. I've lost my members of the I hope we can connect very quickly. I hope we can sort that out. Yes, so like I promised, if you're just tuning in, is The Other Woman, and we are looking at a video clip. There was an interview. Dr. Philip Njewanze was interviewed by News Central, and it was with respect to the National Health Act. Dr. Philip is calling medical doctors and lawyers to review those sections because of what he is privy to. The information he shared, compelling evidence, verbal evidences about the meeting he attended where the organs of all citizens of Nigeria has been sold off to General Electric, the medical practitioners in the US. Those were the things he alluded to in that clip. We played the clip earlier. We'll play it again next week. For those that have missed it, I promise to bring back Dr. Mutia, inshallah, another doctor and a lawyer to further x-ray this issue, because we need to, bring it to limelight. I know people are asking, how come now? This thing has been on since. They've already signed it into law. Yes, that's why he's calling for a review. These sections need to be reviewed. The waiver. How do you claim that the consent is waived, so they can waive a consent? I know Dr. Mitia is bringing in another aspect to it. She's talking about children. How in those cases, when there's an emergency case and it involves a child, it should be waived, But we'll look more into details. There's a technical issue. I'm not able to get my team back. The IT crew are working on it, but we're almost running out of time. So I assure you, inshallah, this is not the end of this topic. We're going to revisit it next week with a larger team, 2 doctors, inshallah, and a lawyer will be on board, biiznillah, so that we can, share more perspectives on this issue. You, my viewers, please pick up National Health Act. It's there. It's open. It's a public document, right? National Health Act, review the section 48, 51 and 53 so you can flow better with us when we discuss this topic next week, inshallah ta'ala. Am I able to get my people back by any chance? So at least they can give closing remarks. I'm trying to connect with them. It's not happening. I pray. Anyways, that's it really. I'm going to leave now, inshallah, and play you Nasheed from Maher Zain. My own take on the issue, I don't think that I agree with Dr. Philip. I don't think that consent should be waived. I did not fall from the skies. I have parents, I have husband, I have children, I have family members, I have. If all of these people were not present, maybe they brought me from the office, my colleagues at work can reach out to my. Somebody has to be able to be a part of the decision to take anything from my body, right? And that's what Dr. Philip is saying. You cannot ignore the fact that there are people concerned that you cannot, without my consent, pick something from my body. The Dr. Matia's angle about transfusion, they are putting something in my body. I think that's also the same. But this is the bane of the matter is about organ trafficking. Being able to take organs from my body without my permission is what the issue is, and that's the section 48, the waiver. The section 51 is about the medical. I think the medical doctors can't take the decision and do that. And then section 53 context about the amount. How much is my kidney worth? Your kidney is worth 10 million. To God be the glory. Good luck to you. Mine is worth, in the billions. So all that will look more into details, inshallah ta'ala. Our last prayer in our lives next week. Time to lock in 11 a.m. on Lights Radio. You can follow us on all our social media handles. I promise to share the video on our platform, inshallah, so you can also watch the interview that I'm referring to. But please go the extra mile, download the National Health Act, and review those sections that he has laid emphasis on, 48, 51, and 53. We'll see you next week, Bismillah. Enjoy more from Maher Zain. It's a cold day. It's been raining cats and dogs, lions and elephants. Keep warm, stay safe, drive safely, and inshallah ta'ala, we'll see you next week. We love you. God bless Nigeria.